So I want to apologize for the way the last video ended. I was noticing my microphone was having an issue. The only way I can really fix it is to shut off my recording software and restart it from scratch, which is why I can't really just edit this. Now, maybe there's a way I can. I haven't learned how to do that, so I basically just have to split it into two separate parts. Sorry if it kind of throws you off a bit, so I'm hoping it'll flow nicely if you are watching this in the playlist, for example. So anyways, let's go ahead and continue, shall we? So we've removed Tichondrius from the equation from overseeing that Gul'dan does his job, right? Here's the next portion of the Nightwell, still going up. There's one more boss we have to take care of, though, before we can confront Elisond. And it's someone that we have a bone to pick with for what happened at the Broken Shore. More so if you are as a paladin. A lot of players had a bone to pick with this guy, I'm sure. Now, it took 80 of us. I mean, at the time that it launched. In lore, remember, the story of what happened to the Broken Shore is that this was supposed to be 40 players on the Alliance and 40 players on the Horde working together against the invasion of the Burning Legion. And that boss fight basically had 80 players working together. Now, of course, it doesn't really work that way anymore. But it was really cool at the time. It's one of the only times it's ever happened.
It's horrible.
Yeah. Croesus. This colossal Doom Lord, one of the largest and mightiest creatures in the armies of the Legion, was defeated at the Broken Shore through the combined might of the greatest heroes of the Horde and Alliance. Having recovered from his wounds, Croesus emerges from the bay between the Nighthold and the Tomb of Sargeras. Remember, this is that bridge I showed you guys earlier in the last video. The bridge that's broken off between here and the Tomb of Sargeras right there. And I wanted to point that out because this is where we're going to be fighting him, and it's actually kind of cool. To crush any who would oppose the Legion. Sorry that I stopped that. I think someone mentioned they would prefer I don't do that. Sometimes I just have to think about these things that come to my mind. But yeah, he's got a kind of a cool mechanic where this bridge is only going to last us for so long before he just starts breaking it. Because Croesus is kind of a mutant. There's no other like him because, well, let's just say it's an extreme version of an extremely powerful fel-infused demon. But he's like the only one of his kind that actually is able to kind of survive and become that. That's why he was able to do what he did to Tyrion Fordring. And that's the motivation I was talking about. He didn't actually kill Tyrion because as a paladin, we actually find him before that he was captured. He doesn't die until after we've gotten the Ashbringer from him. But Khadgar's even going to say this later. He very much had a lot to do with what happened to Tyrion dying. So this is what I'm talking about when it comes to the bone that we players had to pick with Croesus here. I'm going to try and see if I can show off as much of this, because I want to show him breaking the bridge.
Come then, meet your end. I will
Come on, Croesus.
I'll pound you to dust!
You see that? That's where it's like, oh, move.
Everything you love will burn.
Yeah, move to this side. It's kind of similar to the Mozala fight in the other side dungeon. There's the bridge going. So basically, after 3 slams, a portion of the bridge goes down, and then the longer the fight goes on, the more farther back you're gonna have to keep moving. It's pretty cool what they're able to do here with the whole him breaking the bridge. I just love that. Alright, let's go ahead and kill this guy. This is Praetorian forging monster.
Must.
That was for Tyrion Fordring, monster. Croesus may not have struck the killing blow, but he played a part in our great champion's fall.
Love you, Khadgar.
The fate of our world hangs.
And he can just teleport us back over there so we can continue, so... Now it's time. Now, Elisand's interesting. Because you would probably think she is all... like, and, cacklingly evil. For all the things that we have been seen being done. With some people saying it's, Elisand's will and such. The thing is, though... Elisand's actually going to share something with us. That actually gives a bit more interesting nuance to her. But we gotta clear the room first before we can face her, which, by the way, you'll see she's right there. You hear the measured chanting and pacing of a complex ritual within the spire. Interlopers! Fear not, I will draw the power of the Nightwell to wipe them out! Courtesans, defend us while we continue the ritual! The ritual is broken. The figure suspended awakens.
I foresaw your coming, of course. The threads of fate that led you to this place. Your desperate attempt to stop the Legion. My people faced a similar dilemma. I peered into all possible futures in search of an answer. And found only one. The Legion's victory is inevitable. Every time stream shows it to be so. Had we resisted, they would have taken the Nightwell by force and left us bereft of it. I could not allow my people to starve, to waste away without its energy sustaining us. So a bargain was struck. Now I see a future where the Legion is victorious, and my people endure. This is the thread that must be preserved. I will do everything in my power to make it so. Your deaths ensure the future of the Nightborn. Come forward, then. Let us speed you towards your fate.
Elisand once distinguished herself by resisting the Legion. She and her highborn followers broke away from Queen Ajara and the dark path she was taking, harnessing the power of the Eye of Amanthul to create the Nightwell, to protect Suramar from the Sundering. But over 10,000 years later, the Legion's arrival offered her no such recourse. She has cast her lot with the demons, hoping to once again use the power of the Nightwell, albeit this time in a very different sense, to save her people. So yeah, seems Elisand is not the horrifically evil villain that we were kind of led to believe. her interesting different motivations. Hold on. Ignore that. That was just a guild member asking if I want to do a mythic keystone with him. So, yeah. I put myself on busy, but apparently that doesn't block whispers, which I guess it's a separate thing, but yeah. Anyways. Excuse me. So, yeah. And yes, by the way, that is Jennifer Hale. That is FemShep. That is female Commander Shepard, in case you were curious. If you're like, that voice sounds familiar. Yeah, because she does a lot of voice acting. She's in a lot of different games, which I know some people have a problem with that. I actually have seen some people say, I'm tired of hearing the same 3 or 4 voice actors in every game that there is. I mean, some of these people have kind of earned those kinds of job offers and that kind of recognition because of how good and talented they are as voice actors. I'm all for other people, getting the opportunity to do, very excellent voice acting performances. But sometimes but to me, it makes sense if you reach out to someone who's very well known. If you need to get a certain type of character done in a certain way, that you reach out to someone who's very good and experienced at their job. It just makes sense to me. So I'm not someone who has a problem with Jennifer Hale getting all these job offers and doing all this voice acting because I think she's earned it. So, but don't get me wrong. Like I said, I am in favor of other people getting opportunities. Just, yeah, it's not a big issue with me, is what I'm saying. So this is an interesting fight because, kind of like the anomaly fight, this has to do with time because, of course, again, Eye of Amanthul. You'll notice the Eye of Amanthul has a huge impact on many of the different things here. He's the Titan of Time. So, of course, his artifact has a very huge, effect on time. The fact that she actually says that she has actually looked into different futures, basically going the Doctor Strange route of using the time stone to look at all the different possible futures of the different outcomes. So she found one where her people survives, and that was if the Legion wins. Thing is, we actually have a tendency to kind of make it where that kind of stuff doesn't necessarily have to come to pass. So it could be that we were the variable change that she was not expecting. And therefore, we can actually change some of that stuff from actually happening. So anyways, yeah. You gotta sit through the RP, which I know some people get tired of. Then you can finally start the fight by tagging her.
Your timelines end here! In but a single moment. I am far less limited.
So she rewinds time, and we start the fight again. So we have to actually beat her 3 times.
Time shifts again, and your doom draws near.
And this, of course, is now when you can start popping all your cooldowns.
Time is slipping away! How can it be so? It's not possible. I was destined to win.
Come on. Say the dialogue. She better say the dialogue. Okay, apparently it's not working. Apparently it bugged out. Hold on a second. Gonna have to look this up. I apologize that once again the game decides to bug out. Ugh. Trying to see if it actually lists off her lines of dialogue. Alright, quotes. Okay, that one wasn't it. Come on. Okay, here it is. So after we defeat her, what she's supposed to say is, from that little hovering in the night well there is, in all possible futures I scried, I did not foresee one in which you were victorious. I wonder, will you defeat the Legion? Will you fail? Time eddies about you, fits and starts. Nothing is certain. Perhaps you will win. And in saving your world, my people would be freed from the terrible bargain that we were forced to make. Fates be damned. I cast my lot in with yours, champions. Go now. Face Gul'dan. I will aid you as best I can, and perhaps together we can save us all. So she's actually going to try, because she went back, she's there in the Nightwell, she's actually going to try and lend us some help in the next fight, which is, of course, against Gul'dan. I'm going to hold off before we head up there, because then he's going to talk. This is awesome. This is not only an awesome fight, but this is an example I like to use when I say that, in my mind, when you're designing a raid, the whole raid should be leading up to and building up to your final confrontation at the end of the raid. The final boss of the raid should be the best and most epic fight in the entire raid. Now, there can be some other really good ones as well, kind of in there, but in my opinion, the final boss of the raid is what it should all be leading up towards and should be all about. And it should be an awesome fight. That's not always the case, but it should be an epic encounter against a very notable character that the whole thing has been building up towards, and it should be an awesome fight gameplay-wise. This, fortunately, is both. I've heard people say this is a really fun boss fight, and a lot of people really love this boss fight on each of the different difficulties, including Mythic. And plus, this is a really epic encounter. This is Gul'dan. This is one of the most iconic characters in the history of this setting. Yes, this is alternate Gul'dan, but in my opinion, he's actually a better version of this character than the original version. And he's had just as much of an impact on the story of Warcraft as the original did. Now, the original was, of course, a very integral character to the whole thing getting underway, but think about how much of an impact this version of Gul'dan has had as well, and what he's doing right now. So yeah, the chain of events set in motion when Garrosh escaped to Draenor has continued, unbroken for all its twists and turns, leading to this very moment. Thwarted in Draenor, Gul'dan now stands on the precipice of achieving ultimate victory on behalf of his Legion Masters, standing atop the Nighthold as the vortex of fell energy swirls in the skies overhead. The outcast orc warlock awaits his destiny. Remember that Harbinger animation I showed you guys? I found my destiny. Yeah, we'll see his destiny by the end of this fight. But just remember, keep that whole thing in mind. By the way, just once again, I want to praise the just absolute crap out of Troy Baker, who voices Gul'dan. Because, oh my gosh, that man is such a great voice actor, because his performance as Gul'dan has been outstanding. I love him as Gul'dan. And you're going to hear some more here, because he's going to taunt us a bit and just have some fun.
The heroes have arrived. So persistent, so confident. But your arrogance will be your undoing. Have you forgotten your humiliation on the broken shore? How your mighty war chief was stuck in the belly like a helpless piglet? Will you die slowly as he did, consumed by fell corruption and squealing for a merciful end? Your pathetic horde will fall to dust. In the end, death will inherit this world, and she will be waiting. The husk of Illidan will prove an ideal vessel for my master's glory. Sargeras will rise, and together we will watch your world burn. Let the endgame begin.
So, real quick, if you come here as an Alliance character, he says, "Have you forgotten your humiliation on the broken shore? How your precious High King was bent and broken before me? Will you beg for your lives, as he did, whimpering like some worthless dog? Your pathetic alliance will fall to dust. Your new boy king will bow down and serve me, as will all of you." Like I said, great credit to Troy Baker. So here's the extra help that Elisand is giving us. Time dilation. By the way, you're probably going, okay, well, that's Illidan's corpse, and that's Gul'dan. Where's the Eye of Amanthul? He's standing on it. That is the Eye of Amanthul. Yeah. The active Eye of Amanthul bestows great power, modifying relative time for the caster. Your relative time is increased by 30%, increasing casting, movement, and attack speed by 30%, as well as decreasing cooldowns by 30%, and periodic effects occur 30% faster. Receiving fire damage removes this effect. So yeah, he of course has fell fire damage because he's a warlock with green fell fire. So yeah. So what do you say we get some much-needed revenge? We got our revenge for Tyrion Fordring against Croesus. It's time to get revenge for Varian Wrynn.
You will not stop the ritual. Strike for Sargeras. Burn from within. Rid me of these pests.
Notice he's casting things like Hand of Gul'dan, just like a warlock does in the game.
Kill them in my master's.
This fight really helps showcase why he's such a strong and powerful warlock.
Ready. Failed heroes. The ritual is upon us. But first, I'll indulge myself a bit and finish you.
Blew out the walls, and now
Taste of the master's might.
not much of a cripple now, is he? Looks quite strong, doesn't he? Like I said, this is a great showcase to show Gul'dan being really strong and powerful. Look at him. The spikes on the back getting powered.
power given forth.
The Eye of Gul'dan, of course.
Fail you, Master. More power. Just need more power. My will is unbreakable. No more distractions. I have work to do.
So that's the cue that he's about to try and launch you off the platform. Yeah.
Surrender. I may yet show mercy.
Look at him.
Time to return the demon hunter's soul to his body and deny the Legion's master a host.
So yeah, there's the rip in space where he's trying to get Sargeras to come here. Khadgar is going to try and counter the ritual by putting Illidan's soul that we helped collect from Helheim back into Illidan's corpse. To not only save Illidan, but to also prevent Sargeras from coming here.
We can stop him! I know it!
Just showing off the rip in time and space over there. Remember that being there. It's going to be important in a moment.
Why do you keep resisting?
Because that's what we do.
Pressing champions! Gul'dan wavers! He will fall!
Burn from within.
It's time for you to face your destiny.
Let the storm rain death upon.
And he is abandoned once again. Enjoy your destiny.
You have seen what I have seen. You know what we face. Now, mortals, follow me into the abyss.
This is the moment when Illidan officially re-enters the actual story. We saw him, like, in the Demon Hunter starting zone, but he, has been absent this whole time because he's been, his soul was removed and all that. He was basically dead. This is when he finally actually enters the expansion of Legion, officially. What's funny is he's got the Warglaives of Azeroth on him. Later we'll see he doesn't have them because of the implication that, we took them off of his corpse in the Black Temple, so he had to replace them. It's just kind of funny that he's got them here, and then later he won't, So we have Gul'dan's Eye for the Balance of Power quest. Now, everyone's here. Hey, Illidan, good to see you. We, of course, know where we're going next. But before we do that, though, we gotta deal with this Eye of Amanthul here. A fitting end. The battle is won, but the war is far from over. In order to stem the tide of demons flooding into Azeroth, we must use the Pillars of Creation to seal the Tomb of Sargeras. Keep that in mind for when we go through the next raid. It's going to be kind of important for a very pivotal plot twist that happens. He looks at the Eye of Amanthul. That might be difficult to carry. Perhaps I can use the power of the eye itself to teleport it to Dalaran. I suppose there's only one way to find out. I forgot that actually is a thing here. Alright, let's do it. Don't know why there's no sound for that.
Hail and well met, champion.
With the Eye of Amanthul in our possession, we are one step closer to sealing the portal.
Where you lead, we will follow.
And that officially ends and concludes the storyline in Suramar, except for one little portion that I don't think I can actually show you guys on camera. I might, it's possible. I'll have to head back to Shalaran to see whether or not I can actually do that.
I assist you to the next room.
I'll see if it's available there for me to actually show you guys on camera. If I can't, well, then I'll just simply tell you about what it is. So yeah, sorry I had to divide this into 2 parts. But, you know, tech issues and all that. So sorry if the mic ends up bothering you in the previous part. Yeah. I'll probably try and see if there's a group that wants to, because I think it might be possible for me to solo the mythic version of the fight. I'm not entirely sure. I may have to test it out. If not, I can just get one other person to help me out.
Patrols edge ever closer to Shalaran. Undeath welcomes you.
Okay. Let's see. Ah! It looks like it is available. So there's one thing we have to deal with. We've gotten, you know, we took the Eye of Amanthul, but there's one thing left over we have to kind of deal with. By the way, this is how you can get this mount that I've been using here. Shortly after your victorious return from the Nighthold, urgent business took Thalysra back to the palace. She's requested that you meet her there. Speak to me when you're prepared to join her.
Respect magic, or it
I'm ready, Oculus. We have to decide what to do about the Nightwell.
The Nightwell.
I thought I would never see it again.
It is dying. Without the Eye of Amanthul, the Nightwell has become unstable.
We could stabilize it. We no longer need the Nightwell to sustain us, but we can still harness its power.
Thalysra, it is your call.
Let it die. We must put the Nightwell behind us. We must take responsibility for our failings and repay our debt to the people of Azeroth. Greetings.
It had to be this way. We no longer need the Nightwell, nor its power. We must forge our own destiny. Thank you for being here. Ultimately, the Nightborn must shape their own destiny, regardless of the help that we have received from outlanders like yourself. It is no easy burden we bear, but Elisand has shown us that we must stand alone, without the Nightwell, to properly rejoin the world. Thank you for all that you have done for us.
We are only as strong as our will.
Anar Amenos.
This is the right decision. The power here is too great. The responsibility too heavy. Even Elisand was destroyed by it. We must let it go.
Tell the laugh.
Yes?
I'll always wonder what might have been had we chosen to save the Nightwell. What are we without its power? In the end, I trust in Thalysra's judgment. Under her leadership, I know the Nightborn will forge a new path. With the Horde.
The arcane is infinite.
Pleasantries can
Speaking of which, Liadrin, I'm impressed. Letting go of the Nightwell was no easy task. Its power and allure will fade with time. As it was with us, they will find their own way in this world. Which is kind of funny since they do still have the Sunwell, but that's a whole separate discussion. Tyrande?
In her light, all truths are revealed.
The Nightwell is no more. These Nightborn will learn to survive without its corrupting power, or they will perish. Let us hope that it is the former.
We will fight to protect our future.
You know what's funny? I actually heard a response to the whole Suramar thing from somebody who's an actual real-life political ambassador who also plays WoW. And he did a full analysis as to the political things surrounding the whole Suramar questline, as well as the breaking down why it made so much sense that the Nightborn ended up joining the Horde instead of staying neutral or even joining the Alliance. And he broke down everything. It was really well done, really well crafted and designed, to the point where it's so obvious why the Nightborn ended up joining the Horde, as opposed to either joining the Alliance or even staying neutral. Some said, why didn't they stay neutral? You know, he breaks that down and gives the good reasons as to why it made more sense for them to actually join a power like the Horde instead of staying neutral on their own. It makes so much more sense. So, you know, I'm just one of those, I'm just like, yeah, like, it makes perfect sense. At least to me it did. So, that was the Nighthold, everybody. Again, sorry about the technical difficulty and having to split it into multiple videos. Hopefully, my mic won't give me any issues when we do the next couple of parts. Because we have a couple more raids left to go. And I've already tested it out. It looks like we are going to be good to go, because once again, I'm going to have to be able to just simply do the same strategy I did in Child of Valor to deal with one of the fights in Antorus, which has that mechanic. But the next one we'll be doing is the Tomb of Sargeras. I actually forgot to read the little thing here. The largest structure in the Broken Isles and among the grandest in all of Azeroth, the Nighthold stands as a testament to the achievements of the Nightborn civilization, centered around the Nightwell, the fount of arcane power that has sustained Suramar for centuries. These grounds were built as a haven from the worries of the world, but as a fellstorm churns above the former temple of Elune across the bay, and Gul'dan himself now resides within the palace's walls, those worries now begin, not end, here. So, in the next raid of the series, we'll be heading to the Tomb of Sargeras. Fortunately, I have a little trailer to show you guys, which I think to this day may be the last of the actual trailers for a patch or a raid that we have had in quite some time. Because really, going forward for the rest of the series, looking ahead, there's really no other trailers for anything else that they've done since then. You remember how we used to have trailers for, big stuff. Like we had a trailer for the Black Temple. We had a trailer for Sunwell. We had a trailer for Zulaman. We had a trailer for Ulduar. We had a trailer for, I think there was one for Trial of the Crusader that was more just the patch and the actual raid. But we had a trailer for Icecrown Citadel. We had a trailer for the Firelands. We've had these really cool trailers. We had a trailer for Throne of Thunder. We had a trailer for Siege of Orgrimmar. I've been showing some of these trailers. And as we've gone forward, we've had less. We didn't have any trailers. Like, we had a couple for the patches, but they weren't really about the raids. They were more so just about the patch. And so far, we haven't had that either. I hope they bring these back, because I really liked the whole a trailer for the raid thing that they used to do. I thought it was really cool being able to have a trailer dedicated to building up the raid. Not necessarily the patch, but the raid. I thought that was really cool. And I'm hoping that's something they actually will come back to do in the future. So, as of Tomb of Sargeras, I consider the one for Tomb of Sargeras to be the last one we've had. And it's a really cool trailer. So, stay tuned for the Tomb of Sargeras.